Welcome back to Ref Me Up 2.0, the Rookie Guide. Today we are covering Section 8 of the CCA Football Officiating Manual, Pregame Duties. The game does not start when the ball is kicked off. It starts when the first official arrives at the stadium. Everything that happens in the hours before kickoff, the game ball certification, the dressing room visits, the timer meeting, the field inspection, the chain crew meeting, the ball personnel meeting, all of it is part of officiating. All of it has specific requirements, and all of it is your responsibility. 6 areas. Let's go through every one. First, game balls. The back judge receives, tests, certifies, and marks all new or nearly new game balls submitted for approval by each team. This must be completed at least 1 hour before game time. Each team may submit a maximum of 10 balls, unless weather conditions warrant the use of more than 10. And all officials, not just the back judge, are responsible for administering and enforcing the legality of footballs throughout the entire game. The certification is the back judge's job before the game. Enforcement is everyone's job once the game starts. Second, dressing room visits. The referee and umpire visit each dressing room 90 minutes before kickoff. This meeting may not be conducted by any officials other than the referee and umpire. No exceptions, no substitutions. It is those 2 positions and no others. The umpire inspects player equipment, bandages, and tape, and records the numbers of players with illegal equipment. Those players must be rechecked when they come onto the field. The referee and umpire shall meet with the home team first, then the visiting team, unless there has been a prior agreement to reverse the order due to home team activities such as recruiting events or senior day. For postseason games, the referee and umpire shall meet with the home team first in all cases, no exceptions. What the referee covers in each visit, confirms official time and starting time with each head coach or their designated representative, reminds each head coach of equipment rule requirements, secures proper certification and reviews any unusual game situations, including any play that requires prior notification, asks defensive coaches about the defensive signals to be used during the game, notes that the head coach may designate an assistant or other sideline personnel to receive foul reports during the game. After returning to the locker room, the referee shares the full discussion with coaches with their crew. What happened in those meetings is crew information. The clock operator meeting. Clock operators should inform the officials whether they will be in the press box or on the sideline. That matters for communication purposes. Officials remind the timer to start the field clock 90 minutes before game time. The game clock will run during the 20 minutes of halftime intermission, which starts when the first half ends. The referee gives the start the clock signal from the end zone as a reminder to begin the halftime clock. The clock operator must have an extra stopwatch available in case the game clock malfunctions. Clock malfunction procedures. If a clock problem occurs, the clock operator must immediately contact the officials by field telephone, giving them the correct data regarding official time. The alternate official or designated official will then pick up the correct playing time on their stopwatch. If the field clock becomes inoperative, the referee will indicate to the crowd that the field clock will not be official until the malfunction is corrected. If the referee is equipped with a microphone, the remaining time can be announced after every dead ball. If there is no microphone, officials will alert the PA announcer concerning the remaining time. One more important timing rule. Remind the timer that if the game clock is stopped with 2 seconds or less in any period and will start on the referee's signal, run the clock to 0 if the ball is legally snapped. A key detail on halftime that every official and timer must understand. The game clock runs during the 20-minute halftime intermission. This is not a separate timer. This is not a pause. The game clock itself runs halftime. It starts when the first half ends. The referee's signal from the end zone starts it. Anyone who treats halftime like a separate countdown is operating under the wrong understanding. Field presence requirements. A minimum of 3 officials will take the field 90 minutes before kickoff, and all officials will be on the field 40 minutes before kickoff. If one or both teams leave, the crew may leave as well, but must return no less than 5 minutes before game time. Equipment checks on the field. The umpire should spot check player equipment. The headline judge and line judge check the chain crew equipment. The chain should be measured against field markings to ensure that the chain is 10 yards long. If it is not already attached, a piece of tape should be wound around the links in the exact middle of the chain to aid in determining whether a 5-yard penalty will or will not result in a first down. The chain should also be inspected for kinks, knots, weak spots, and tape. The down box must be in working order. Field inspection by the referee and back judge. All markers and obstructions within the playing enclosure shall be placed or constructed to avoid any possible hazard to players, including anything dangerous at the limit lines. After the official's pregame inspection, the referee shall order removed any hazardous obstructions or markers located inside the limit lines. If hazardous markers or obstructions are outside the limit lines, the referee reports them to game management personnel. Final determination of corrective action for those is game management's responsibility. After officials complete their pregame inspection, it is game management's responsibility to ensure the playing enclosure remains safe throughout the game. Center judge duty. The center judge communicates with the quarterbacks and snappers to explain the substitution process and the procedures for how the ball will be spotted and made ready for play. Captain Escort timeline. At 5 minutes before game time, the side judge and field judge escort the captains of the teams on their respective sidelines from the locker room to their respective sidelines. The line judge and head line judge ensure their respective teams are on the field 3 minutes before the start of the game. On a signal from the referee, the field judge and side judge escort the respective captains as far as the 9-yard marks and remain there to ensure no team personnel move closer to the field than the 9-yard marks. The back judge, head line judge, center judge, and line judge remain on their sidelines. Chain crew meeting. The head line judge and line judge lead this meeting. Chain and box location. The official chains and down box remain on the side of the field opposite the press box throughout the entire game. Similarly, auxiliary chains and box remain on the press box side. These positions never change during the game. Chain crew instructions. The box holder and chain crew should be instructed to place markers, rods, and the clip where indicated by the head line judge and line judge. A member of the chain crew shall record the down, distance, and yard line for all downs, in case the box and/or markers need to be reset to a previous position after moving. Chain personnel are to make no remarks to players, nor express opinions concerning any ruling. Setting the chains. When a new series begins, the chains should be positioned adjacent to the sideline. The box holder places the marker on the sideline where indicated by the head line judge. The chains are then set on the sideline, and the clip is attached to the chain on the side of the yard line closest to the rear chain rod. When the chains are set, the box holder retreats 6 feet and establishes the spot where the chains are to be reset after the clip has been attached. Use of a second clip is mandatory. The clip operator should mark the new yard line with a second clip, leaving the original clip in place until after the first down play ends. The chains must not be moved, and the number on the box must not be changed until the head line judge or line judge instructs personnel to do so. Once instructed to move, the chain crew must move quickly. Special kicking situations. On free kicks, the chain crew should remove themselves and all equipment outside the limit line. The chains are to be laid down outside the limit line. Only the down box is to be used when Team A has a first down inside Team B's 10-yard line, or when Team A attempts an extra point. If Team A attempts a field goal outside Team B's 20-yard line, the box must remain in place after the kick, because if the kick fails, the ball may be next snapped from the previous spot. Ball personnel meeting, led by the side judge and field judge. It is a single meeting with all ball personnel from each team combined. It is important to remind ball personnel that they are a part of the officiating crew, and that their behavior must reflect a neutral demeanor. Ball personnel should also refrain from chasing or running with a ball carrier on a long breakaway play. There should be a minimum of 3 ball personnel for each sideline. 2 of the personnel should be aligned halfway between the line of scrimmage and the referee and center judge in the offensive backfield. The other ball personnel aligned between the line of scrimmage and the deep wing official. Ball entry rules. A new ball enters through the center judge or umpire, depending on which side of the field the play ends. A new ball enters only when requested by the on-field official. Ball personnel should have a ball available for the center judge and umpire on every play. However, not every play will require replacing the ball. The ball personnel who are on the defensive side of the ball will retrieve the ball on incomplete passes, down outside the hash marks, punts, or any other situation when the ball is declared dead beyond the line of scrimmage. Boundary rules. Ball personnel are not to enter the field of play at any time to retrieve a ball. They are to remain outside the white once the ball exchange has taken place. When the line of scrimmage is outside the team box, from the 20-yard line to the goal line, all ball personnel need to be outside the limit lines once a ball exchange has been completed. Ball personnel should not be below the 10-yard lines during a scrimmage possession. Special situations. Under 2 minutes with the clock running, the umpire will handle the ball and will not require a new ball. If the game clock stops and will restart on the snap, the officiating crew reverts to regular ball mechanics. For tries and field goals, use the same ball mechanics, with the ball coming in from the side closest to where the play ended. Let's bring the full pregame timeline together. 1 hour before kickoff, back judge certifies all game balls. Maximum 10 per team, unless weather conditions warrant more. 90 minutes before kickoff, 2 things happen simultaneously. The referee and umpire begin dressing room visits, home first, then visitor, and a minimum of 3 officials take the field for warm-up monitoring. The umpire spot checks equipment on the field. The head line judge and line judge check the chain crew and measure the chain. 40 minutes before kickoff, all officials on the field. Full crew. Phase 2 of warm-up, monitoring with the buffer zone active. Center judge communicates with the quarterbacks and snappers. 5 minutes before kickoff, the side judge and field judge escort captains from the locker room to their respective sidelines. 3 minutes before kickoff, the line judge and head line judge ensure their respective teams are on the field. On the referee's signal, the field judge and side judge escort captains to the 9-yard marks. At some point before game time, no fixed deadline, the timer meeting with the referee and officials. The chain crew meeting led by the head line judge and line judge. The ball personnel meeting led by the side judge and field judge. And that is Section 8, Pregame Duties, complete. 6 areas. Every official must know all of them. Game balls. Back judge certifies all balls 1 hour before game. Maximum 10 per team. All officials enforce ball legality throughout the game. Dressing room. Referee and umpire only. 90 minutes before. Home first, except prior agreement. Postseason. Always home first, no exceptions. Umpire records all illegal equipment numbers. Referee covers time, equipment rules, unusual situations, and defensive signals. Timer meeting. Field clock starts 90 minutes before game. The game clock itself runs the 20-minute halftime. It is not a separate timer. Extra stopwatch required for the clock operator. 2-second end of period rule applies. On the field, 3 officials at 90 minutes, full crew at 40 minutes. Field and equipment inspection. Chain tape at the exact middle. Referee removes hazards inside limit lines, reports hazards outside to game management. Captain Escort at 5 minutes and 3 minutes. Chain crew, head line judge and line judge lead. Official chains opposite the press box, auxiliary on the press box side. Second clip is mandatory. Chain crew records every down, distance, and yard line. Once told to move, they move quickly. Ball personnel, side judge and field judge lead. Minimum 3 per sideline, neutral demeanor, never enter the field. Under 2 minutes with the running clock, the umpire handles the ball and no new ball is needed. Know the timeline. Know who owns each responsibility. That is what it means to be prepared before the game starts. Thanks for joining Ref Me Up 2.0. I hope you got 1% better today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next Rookie Guide.
Well, that's a wrap for this section. Hopefully y'all learned something today. If you made it all the way through, then you're a real one, and I hope it brought you closer to your goals. Go ahead and subscribe and share with a football official, fan, or coach, and